We've seen how essential critical minerals are on a global stage, but now let's zoom in on Canada. What minerals does that nation hold specifically? This is something that I don't think many people understand. And Peter, you were alluding to this, Tony, a little bit as well, just on what is actually in Canada. But then you also said something in the previous segment really interesting. Critical minerals are what a country does not have for minerals. So would Canada not consider aluminum, which is something that we have in mass deposits, as critical to themselves? Tony, I want to throw this one over to you.
Well, I'm going to take this a step further, Sam. I come from the school that every mineral is critical. It depends on the time and place. The international markets for minerals can turn on a dime, as we found out with our good friends south of the border. You had touched briefly at the intermission on what's happening between Ukraine and the United States, for example. And I can assure you, until about 2 weeks ago, nobody had any idea that Ukraine was resplendent in critical minerals. And ironically, in Canada at least, and I can't speak to other jurisdictions, Peter's got a lot more knowledge than I do, a metal like gold is not viewed as critical. So take that for what it's worth.
Right,
Although gold is absolutely massive when it comes to its applications around the world.
Now, Peter, I want to ask you, which critical minerals are Canada's strongest suits? Like, what are we proud of, I guess, in terms of critical? You brought up aluminum. What else? What would you say?
Well, also on Canada's critical minerals list are some that confuse me. Zinc. Like, we have a lot of it, and we don't need to rely on anyone else. Copper. We have a lot of it. We don't need to rely upon anyone else.
Do we rely on anybody else? Do we import zinc and copper from other countries?
Not in its raw format, but in processed. And then it goes into some of our manufacturing to be repurposed for what the end product is.
So we don't have a lot of processing plants in Canada. Am I making a fair assumption there?
We don't have plants. Well, we do for some, we don't for others. But we lack the high-tech processing to develop the rare earth elements. We lack the ability to play with lithium. We don't have these processing capabilities. We can't build batteries here. And if we're going to be part of the green revolution and have a sustainable supply chain, we need to be able to make our own batteries, which requires us to have our own feedstock.
Wait, but hold on, Peter, and maybe Tony, you can touch on this a little bit. We've seen some announcements of battery manufacturing plants here, but help me understand, because this is technical stuff. Is that different than a processing plant for, say, lithium or cobalt?
Yes, it is. Absolutely. Here in BC, we've had a couple of announcements with respect to lithium battery plants in terms of not lithium battery for your motor vehicle, but small batteries that can go into watches and electronic devices and so on. And I can assure you there is not an atom of lithium that is processed here in British Columbia. So then the question becomes, as Peter alluded to, where is our lithium manufacturing, our lithium smelting, our lithium refining capacity in Canada? And it really doesn't exist. Likewise, with rare earths, and the governments of the territories and the provinces are pouring money into what we call intellectual property. That is innovative ways to refine rare earths and to refine lithium, which we've got spread around Canada. But ultimately, a lot of the manufacturers, ironically, will be importing these metals that are required for batteries, that'll be required for various if you will, high-tech applications, even though the manufacturing facilities are here.
I guess that's just that's shocking to me, and excuse my naivety in this. This is why I brought you guys on the show. Why is it that our friend down south is telling us, we want to leverage your critical minerals? When, if they identify the opportunity to do that, would you guys say that we are leveraging our critical minerals or no? Why are we not doing it already?
I've got to go back 30 or 40 years to answer that for you.
Fair. Peter, you can too, please. We've got about 40 seconds.
North America and most of Europe decided they were going to offshore manufacturing. We didn't care where it went as long as the worker was getting paid 4 cents an hour. We didn't care about environmental disasters. As long as when my glasses case came back, it was $2 a glasses case instead of being 10 if it were built in Canada. For the longest time, North America and Western Europe didn't care about offshoring. And it's only within the last, I'd say, since about 2012, that we've slowly figured out that we have to reshore manufacturing for national security and the stability of our supply chain.
Peter, I've got to cut you off right here. We'll be right back. Stay tuned.